What's the best response to, haha, you have small oobs? Yeah, but my ick is huge. First of all, brush your teeth. That'll get anybody self-conscious and they won't want to speak to anyone for a good while. Thanks, I grew them myself. Actually, I have no oobs, pulls out breast prosthetics thanks cancer. I'll take my small its over your dim wits any day. A flat girl holds you closer to her heart. Treat it like the social faux pas it is. It's weird and creepy that you care about this. At least I don't have to wear a bra, Dave. My favorite comeback for any joke made at my expense is, I don't get it. And ask them to explain to me why it's funny. A simple, so, and? Like I think we both know this, so what's your point? If it's from a guy, haha. You have huge ones. If it's a girl, you're just mad yours hang weird. The objective of the person saying this to you is to elicit an emotional reaction. Any emotion. They don't care if they make you angry, sad, frustrated, or self-conscious. They just want to push a button and see a response. The best way to take that away from them is to give a completely non-emotional response, or no response at all. They button, but they're not going to see a result. If they say it while you're doing something, then just keep doing what you're doing as if you didn't hear them. If they address you and catch your attention with it, just give them your best polite customer service smile. The better you disengage, the less satisfaction they get, and the more successful you are. Less is more. Whenever someone tries insulting me like that, I just say, thanks. Is small oobs still an insult these days? All asterisk oobs are good? If it's a guy, your dad didn't complain. If it's a girl, your boyfriend didn't complain. What movie has the greatest opening of all time? Au revoir Shoshana. Saving Private Ryan. Raiders of the Lost Ark, no contest. It's movie magic defined. As far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. The Dark Knight. Office Space when he looks over and notices that the old man with the walker has gone further than he has in his car. The Matrix. Not sure if this counts, but I could watch the Life of a Bullet sequence from Lord of War all day and never get bored. Children of Men's opening scene is definitely up there. Lion King. Contact. Starting at Earth, then panning out of the solar system, then the galaxy, then out to the edge of the universe, all while listening to older and older radio transmissions. Genius. Super Troopers. The opening of Top Gun was so good they used it again in Maverick. LOTR, Fellowship of the Ring. Lord of War. Star Wars. The music. Goosebumps every time. Up. If you've seen it, you know it's true. Natch. They show how all the characters are connected. Gladiator. Pro-gun Americans. What's the reasoning behind bringing your gun for errands? They call the store Target and I'm the weirdo? Because I live where the predators eat your face while you're alive. Because the police in the United States do not have a legal obligation to protect individual citizens. When seconds matter, police are only minutes away. Live in an area with high crime, police arrive way too late. I was almost raped by someone I stood no chance against. Fortunately, I was rescued before anything happened. Had I had a gun on me, I probably could have pulled it on him. I just feel safer. I have my concealed carry license and have done training, so I am carrying responsibly and I feel good about it. Deleted. You are your own first responder. I got jumped once and left in the street unconscious. That will not happen to me again. Because I am a woman. Because I feel more safe with it. Because I would be forever grateful for it if I were ever in a situation that I needed it. Because it is my right. I'm not American, but if I had the right to carry and had a firearm, why wouldn't I bring it with me? What according to you is the most disturbing event recorded in human history? Khmer Rouge regime of Cambodia, 1975 to 1979. The rape of Nanking. I feel like it gets overlooked a lot, but what Leopold II did to the Congo Free State was pretty disturbing. It was basically what gave birth to the term, crimes against humanity. Genghis Khan killed so many people that he actually decreased the carbon footprint during his lifetime and raped so many women that if you're Chinese there's a decent probability that you're a descendant of his. Rwanda genocide, the Holocaust, the time we continued to spread HIV through donated blood because the pharmaceutical company didn't want to heat it up to kill the virus because some of the blood would evaporate and they'd lose money. So a bunch of kids and innocent patients contracted a lifelong, quickly killing, in that time anyways, disease that could have been prevented by HEATINGUP the blood. Millennials, what skill did you acquire in the 90s that you no longer use? Memorizing phone numbers. Now everyone just saves contacts on their phone. Texting using T9. I was so good, I could carry on a verbal conversation with my parents without looking at what I was texting. I wish I had some other skill that would have aged better. Burning CDs. I was the first one in my class who learned how to do it and had a computer capable of doing it. Oh, what a brief and shining moment of popularity. Memorizing the TV channels so I knew what to look for on the TV guide channel. Was really good at that ski game where the Yeti eats you eventually. Using word art and clip art to make documents more visually interesting. Making a homepage with HTML. I was so good at making those little bead animals out of pony beads. The amount of lizards that I made was stunning. I am fully capable of writing in cursive, using a card catalog, driving a manual shift car, starting a 2-stroke motor, modifying an autoexec.bat file, reading a paper map and navigating with a compass, navigating with a VOR, among others, and I haven't done any of those things for a very long time. Using a pencil to roll the tape back into the cassette after it got chewed up by the fin pitch roller. I don't know what some of these comments are event-taking about, so mine is how to clean a mouse ball, like the old computer mouse, not a esticle. A lot of people apparently had no idea that the reason their mouse would drag is because the ball was covered in gunk. You had to take it out and clean it from time to time. I had to volunteer at a library for the forced volunteer work they make you do in high school, and part of my job was to clean the computer mice. That wasn't in the 90s, though. What are 2 historical events most people don't realize happened about the same time? There was a 6-year period in which Galileo Koldhav taught at Harvard. Hitler, Stalin, Trotsky, Tito, Freud, and Archduke Franz Ferdinand all lived in Vienna in 1913. The last execution by guillotine in France and the release of the first Star Wars movie took place at the same year, 1977. There was a 24-year period when Abraham Lincoln could have sent a fax to a samurai. The fax machine was invented in 1843, the samurai were abolished in 1867, Abraham Lincoln died in 1865. Queen Elizabeth II and Marilyn Monroe were born in the same year. Harriet the Tortoise, who died in 2006, had seen Charles Darwin in person. Also, woolly mammoths were still around when the Egyptians were building the pyramids. You could get to the last public execution in London on the Tube, the London Underground. We're closer to the time of the T-Rex than T-Rex was to the time of the Stegosaurus. Joe Biden was alive when Nikola Tesla died. The Berlin Wall fell a few weeks before the debut of The Simpsons. Auschwitz opened a few days after the first McDonald's. Jack the Ripper was on the loose in 1888 when Nintendo was founded. What is something that's turned you on that you are ashamed to admit? One time a long time ago, my then boyfriend and I were on a road trip with his uncle. We stopped at a motel and got a room with 2 beds. My boyfriend and I got one bed and his uncle the other. I turned toward the wall because I didn't expect my boyfriend to want to do anything considering his uncle was in the bed next to us. After heard his uncle snore a little from across the room. My boyfriend put his hand over my mouth gently and whispered, "Don't make a sound," into my ear and started kissing my neck. We silently went at it. In the dark, with him covering my mouth and whispering that sentence in my ear for some reason turned me on more than I had ever been turned before. It was sort of rapey if taken context, so I was always really ashamed that it turned me on like it did. Getting lifted by a strong girl. I dated a girl that took charge in the bed, and I mean took charge. Ucked like a total psychopath, and it was hot as hit. My friend's juicy SS. Several of my friend's brothers have seen my old NSFW Reddit account. I posted more once I found out. This dude stood close to me and the smell of his sweat turned me on. I am still ashamed, LMAO. When she rolled over on top of me and pinned my wrists above my head. I am pretty strong, and this woman who topped out at 100 pounds soaking wet made me feel fragile. It was like a surrender that I never knew I needed, but I am not ashamed to admit it. It was wholesome, haha. Which sitcom character was the worst human being ever? Mona Lisa Saperstein from Parks and Rec. She's the worst. The worst in the world. Source: her brother, Jean Ralphio. Frank or Dennis on Always Sunny. I love the characters, but they are worst in a group of terrible people. I can't think of anybody worse than Eric Cartman. Malcolm from Malcolm in the Middle. Dude tried Togo 1 week without being an SS hole, and it went so against his nature he started coughing blood. I loved that little hit. Peter Griffin is genuinely a terrible person, and I'm convinced his exploits are supported by Lois parents secretly giving them shitloads of money. I have always hated Ted Mosby. Oh, I need to find the one and get love. I'll just bang 50 women and tell my kids about it while looking down on my friend who does the exact same thing but doesn't hide it. BoJack Horseman is a grade SS hole, but that's kinda the point.